really spoiling you guys now. If you remember my video podcast, I think it was video podcast number 56, the one entitled "Women Will Never Be Exactly Like They Were Prior to 1960. I said that was going to be my last free video for the month of October. My last free video for the month of October. Now I've done 2 more videos since then, technically 3, although 1 really don't count. It was more lighthearted. But I've done 2 videos, and today I'm going to give y'all another one. Tomorrow I'm going to do 1 more video for my $10 subscribers. I might do it later on today. Who knows? Either later on today or no later than tomorrow, I'm going to do one for my $10 pay. Oh, speaking of my Patreon subscribers, I ain't had this criticism in at least a couple months, but I got to criticize at least 2 of y'all, and y'all know who you are. Y'all did some shady shit. I ain't going to go into detail, but y'all know what y'all did. A couple of y'all, my Patreon subscribers, y'all did something shady in the last 24 to 48 hours. I'm just leave it at that. That was foul, man. That was foul. Unless you write me and give me a good excuse, that was foul. That was foul. Matter of fact, speaking of my Patreon page is below in the description section. Patreon page and my other relevant and important links are below. And you can always leave me public feedback in my comment section. And you can give me private feedback either at coaching@mode1.net, MODEONE.net, coaching@mode1.net. Or you can write me an inbox message on my Facebook page. I got a public page and a personal page. Let me get this out the way. Feed your water, baby. Told you I got to cut back down on this vitamin water. It got some ingredients that has the potential to negatively affect my kidneys, so I got to drink more just pure water. I hear a garbage truck outside. Yeah, public feedback. Again, I'm going to mention for the second time. Yeah, man, my video called Face the Facts, Women Are Winning the So-Called Gender War, has over 600 comments and reply comments. Now, again, a percentage of those reply comments are my own reply comments, replying to other people make comments, but still. Yeah, I have over 600 comments. That's the most public feedback I've ever received for any video podcast that I've done to date. I've been doing video podcasts since April. And yeah, that's the most public feedback I've received for any one video podcast ever. Again, if there's one video that beats it out in terms of both combination of public and private feedback, would be I'm sorry, excuse me for a second. Got notifications popping up on my shit. Oh, I was going to say, yeah, in terms of combination of public and private feedback, the one video podcast that would still beat it out is my video podcast called The Myth of the Prudish and Monogamy-Oriented Good Girl. Yeah, I got a lot of feedback from both men and women for that video podcast. Yeah, I got almost just as much, if not more, private feedback through email and Facebook inbox message than I did public feedback. But yeah, for public feedback alone, yeah, face to facts, women are winning the so-called gender war is number one. Okay, I hate to sound cliche, but I'm going to try to keep this short. Hopefully this won't go over an hour. I just wanted really to address one main issue. One main issue that I've been getting in the last, 48 to 72 hours regarding something I said since my very last video. But before I get to that, some of y'all gonna trip on what I'm about to do, especially at least a small portion of my haters and harsh critics. Because one of the criticisms that Alan Roger Currie tends to receive is that I'm hard on the fellas. And even more specifically that I'm hard on black men in particular, but rarely, if ever, am I equally hard on women, and more specifically, black women. That's been one of my criticisms. I addressed that actually in my very last video called Feedback from Listeners Regarding Video Podcast number 57. Now, so given that, and I'll be honest, man, I can't think of too many YouTube podcasts where I've gone after a black female podcast host. There's been one other time actually two together. There was one video podcast where I did address some criticisms towards two black female podcast hosts. That was Sophia A. Nelson and Crystalline Currie, because they made a statement on one of their videos. They said something to the effect of, one of the two women, if not both of them. I can't remember if it was both of them who said this or at least one of the two. One of the two women, either Sophia A. Nelson or Crystalline Currie, made the statement that it's a known fact that Alan Roger Currie hates black women. That is an untrue statement. That's a statement that's both untrue, it cannot be substantiated with factual evidence, and it's derogatory. And see, what a lot of people don't understand is when people make a statement about you that's a combination of blatantly untrue and harshly derogatory, then in most cases you have grounds for a defamation of character lawsuit, particularly if you're a businessman or a businesswoman. That gives you potential grounds for a defamation of character lawsuit. Yeah, there's primarily two types of defamation of character lawsuits. One is libel and one is slander. Libel, when someone commits libel, that means they're saying something that's a combination of blatantly untrue and harshly derogatory about you in written form or print form, like in an article, newspaper, magazine, blog article. When someone says something about you that's blatantly untrue as well as harshly derogatory in print form, written form, that's potential grounds for a libel lawsuit. And when somebody speaks it verbally, orally, they speak something about you that's blatantly untrue and harshly derogatory, that's potential grounds for a slander lawsuit. And yeah, I did. I threatened Sophia Nelson, and matter of fact, they even did a response to my lawsuit threat. But yeah, I threatened them. I ended up consulting with two attorneys, and I didn't go through with the lawsuit, mainly, among other reasons, because the two attorneys I consulted with about this potential lawsuit is that they said the only way you can usually win a defamation of character lawsuit that the only way it's really going to be worth your time and effort to engage in a thorough lawsuit of that nature is if you can prove with factual evidence that the derogatory statement that that person said about you has hurt your business revenues and your business profits. So, for example, me being a book author, let's say I make $9,000 a month in book royalties. And then somebody makes a statement about me that's both untrue and harshly derogatory. And then after that statement comes out, all of a sudden, my book royalties drop to about $4,000 a month instead of $9,000 a month. See, then I would have, what these two attorneys told me, that's when I would have legitimate grounds for a libel lawsuit or a slander lawsuit, is when you can prove that someone's untrue derogatory statement has subsequently and consequently cost you business revenues and business profits. But they said otherwise, it's not impossible to win a lawsuit of that nature without proving that. But in most cases, they say it's just not worth the time and effort. Yeah, if you can't prove that it has hurt you in some kind of way, significant way, business-wise and financially, it's not usually worth it. So I didn't pursue it. But I did threaten. So anyway, without getting longer into that story, that's the one other time I did harshly criticize some black female YouTube hosts. Some female YouTube hosts, and particularly black. Now, I got one other. I don't think I'm going to mention her by a full name. But again, some of you guys who say I never go after women, I'm going to spend at least the next 5 minutes going after one. There was a sister. I ain't going to say her name. But few people have seen her post in my comment section. She has a website where she posts videos of her husband giving her a BDSM style spanking. Although she says she's not in the world of BDSM. She calls hers domestic discipline. So this sister gets in contact with me about 3 or 4 days ago. And she invites me. First she writes me an email, I think it was. And then she invites me to call her, and I call her. This sister must didn't know who she was talking to. She obviously didn't know who she was talking to. This sister tried to call herself admonishing me. And tried to tell me how I should be behaving towards another black male YouTube host that I've been having back and forth beef with. She called herself, I guess, trying to be my YouTube advisor. You know, trying to tell me, Alan Roger Currie, how I should be behaving, how I should be trying to keep the peace and not avoid contentious, relationships with other black male YouTube hosts. Now, I humored her in that conversation, on the phone conversation. But then I told her that since she loves to post videos of her getting her round, juicy ass spanked, she needed to tell her husband to spank that ass for saying some stupid shit like that to me. So she said she was going to tell her husband. I even invited her. I told her to have her husband call me. He never did. I told her to have her husband call me because I was going to tell him directly to lay her across his lap and spank the shit out of that round, juicy ass she got and tell her to stay in her motherfucking lane. But I did that lightheartedly over the phone. I didn't have an angry tone of voice. I was, for the most part, I was pretty lighthearted. This sister puts up a video, I want to say on Friday, doing the same thing she did in the phone conversation. Trying to tell me how to behave towards another black male YouTube host. Man, she's taking it down now. She deleted it now. She took it down now. So it's not there if you go looking for it. But man, I went in her comment section and I had to go in. I was just telling you guys, if, unless you're using it as a term of endearment like I do, the word bitch, I prefer to use that as a term of endearment. Because I feel like when you use it with angry undertones, you're being mode 4. But, dare I say it, I probably was mode 4. But, I had to put this sister in check, man. I said, bitch, stay in your motherfucking lane. Ever fucking try to tell me what to do. What's your problem? And see, you want my opinion on her? I'm going to give my opinion on her. For you brothers who say I never go after sisters, yeah, I'm going to go after this sister. She playing this public role like she's all submissive to her husband. But hey, man, I'm going to tell you something. One thing I know about, and some of you already know this, next to being a man's dating coach, my secondary career is I am a BDSM and polyamory consultant for women and married and unmarried couples. Okay? I've been in and out the BDSM world since the mid-'80s. Since I was in my 20s. I know all about the BDSM world. Now again, she doesn't officially consider herself part of the BDSM world. But I know everything to do. Speaking of that, on a quick side note, I remember, speaking of another YouTube host, I remember I was on O'Shea Duke Jackson's show. And this other black male YouTube host called himself asking me a bunch of questions. And he tries to act like, at one point, trying to act like he know as much, if not more, about the BDSM world than I do. And I looked at this motherfucker like he was crazy. Because if there's one relationship that combines both elements of BDSM with elements of polyamory, it's what's known as a bull, hot wife, cuckold relationship. Let me repeat that. A bull, hot wife, cuckold relationship. One article about, I want to say 2 or 3 years ago, actually rated it as the fastest growing alternative sexual relationship for heterosexual and bisexual men and women in the country. The fastest growing alternative sex relationship in the United States for heterosexual as well as bisexual men and women. Matter of fact, if you guys remember when I used to write for the Examiner, I wrote for the Examiner from summer of 2009 to summer 2015. In my last 4 years, I had the most read column on Examiner.com in the category of dating and relationship advice in the country. I had the most viewed column in the country. I was the top rated dating and relationships advisor on Examiner.com. Now, they're going out of business now. About a year after they fired me in late summer of 2015, and then less than a year later, they went out of business. Karma, bitch. Yeah, but the article that they fired me about, I was doing a 3-part series on the bull, cuckold, hot wife relationship. They published part 1. They published part 2, but less than 24 hours after they published part 2, I got this email saying that some women, I'm assuming hardcore feminist types, some women was complaining about the article. They found it offensive. So they told me they was going to take the shit down. And I had a very adverse reaction to that. Because among other things, I was like, but you've already published it. See, I could tell I was dealing with a rinky-dink organization because, see, in the real world of journalism, you don't publish a reporter's article and then take it down. That's what you have fucking editors for, is to screen the article before it's published. The only exception in the real journalism world is if you publish some of a reporter and find out it has inaccuracies, plagiarism, calls for defamation of character suits, something like that, something extenuating. But other than that, you don't publish somebody's article and then take it off just because you get negative feedback from readers. That's some bullshit, man. Yeah, so they took my shit down, man. I went the fuck off. And that's when they fired me. And their official reason was they said I was too sexually provocative and risque with my content. So anyway, Bull Cuckold Highway. So I'm talking about two things. I'm going to get back to the sister I'm highlighting. But first, yeah, I was on O'Shea Duke Jackson's show. And this podcast host, he was asking me a bunch of questions. Somehow we got on the subject of cuckolds. And he tried to make the argument that all men who are cuckolds involuntarily. He said no man consciously chooses to be a cuckold. And I said, no, with all due respect, you're wrong. I said, in the BDSM world, there are men who volunteer to be cuckolds. And he was like, no, I would still say they're involuntary. I said, no, they're not. In the BDSM world, there are many men who consciously choose to be cuckolds. And he tried to argue with me. He said, no, that's a voyeur. Alan, you're confusing a cuckold with a voyeur. That's a voyeur. Man, O'Shea though. Man, see, sometimes, for better or for worse, I restrain myself. And I see now by how much feedback I got on that Face the Facts video, I need to actually stop restraining myself, because it turns out a lot of my listeners and followers, y'all love it when I don't restrain myself. When I let my hardcore side and what I call my street nigga side come out. But on O'Shea Duke Jackson's show, I showed a lot of restraint. Although I was that close to cracking. But one of my biggest pet peeves, man, don't ever try to act like you know more about something that I got expertise in. Don't ever try to do that with Alan Roger Currie. I hate when motherfuckers do that shit, man. It's just like, I'll take verbal seduction and erotic dirty talk. Ain't nobody on this earth know more about that shit than me. Don't try to act like you know more about that shit than me. Don't try to act like you know more about that shit than me. Show me your book that's selling about the subject matter. Show me your receipts with motherfuckers paying you hundreds of thousands of dollars for your motherfucking advice. If you think you know more than me. It's same with BDSM, man. This motherfucker ain't in the BDSM world. He don't know shit about the fucking BDSM world. No, he don't know shit about the BDSM world. He gonna try to tell me what a motherfucking cuckold is. Go on FetLife. For y'all don't know, there's a website called FetLife, FETLife.com. Go on FetLife and you'll see thousands of ads of men begging to be some woman's cuckold. And he talking about, oh no, that's not a cuckold, that's a voyeur. A voyeur, for those of you not familiar with any of these terms I'm using, I'm going to break it down for you. See, in the swinger world, if you're into swinging or what I call polyamory, what's known as polyamory. Polyamory is to long-term non-monogamous relationships what promiscuity is to short-term non-monogamous relationships. So that's first and foremost. That's what polyamory is. Within polyamory, the most notable form of polyamory is what's known as either swinging and or couple swapping. Swinging and or couple swapping. Now, there's a lot of men and women who are into swinging or couple swapping that are voyeurs and exhibitionists. An exhibitionist is someone who likes to be seen naked, or more so be seen getting fucked or fucking. That's an exhibition. If you like people to watch you while you're fucking, that means you're an exhibitionist. If you like to watch other people while they're fucking, or even more specifically, you like to watch your own wife or husband fucking, your own girlfriend or boyfriend fucking, or if nothing else, just a casual fuck buddy of yours fucking somebody else, that means you're a voyeur. That's a voyeur. Like, I've engaged in voyeuristic behavior before. I've done informal swinging. My people know that. So I've been a voyeur before. A voyeur is a totally different concept than a cuckold. When you're a cuckold, see, here's what's interesting, to do a little tangent on bull hot wife cuckold relationship. You always hear me talking about women's true nature and more specifically how sexually duplicitous women are. Well, see, if there's one relationship where a woman will be sexually duplicitous blatantly in a man's face, not behind his back in some sneaky behind the back manner, but in his face, is in a bull, hot wife, cuckold relationship. Now I'm going to familiarize you with some BDSM terminology that you may not be familiar with. In the BDSM world, there's mainly 4 types of sexual personalities. 4 types of sexual personalities. There's what's known as a top or a dom, which is what I am. That means you like to be the erotically dominant partner no less than 99% of the time. That's a top or a dom. On the flip side, a bottom or a sub. That means you're a man or woman who likes to be the obedient and submissive sexual partner no less than 99% of the time. Bottom, sub. Okay? Those are the main 2. Top, dom, bottom, sub. Then somewhere in the middle, there's 2 subcategories in the middle. There's what's known as a switch. Switch means you have at least 2 sex partners. Could be more, but no less than 2 sex partners. And you got one sex partner that you're dominant with, no less than 99% of the time, and another sex partner that you're submissive to, no less than 99% of the time. That means you're a switch. So like, if I had 2 women I was having sex with, and one woman I was a bull with, a dominant bull with, and another woman I was a submissive cuckold with, that would make me a switch. Then, similar to a switch is what's known as a flexible or a versatile. A flexible or versatile is when you go back and forth with the same partner. So like say you're married and you're dominant with your husband or wife 2/3 of the time and submissive to your husband or wife 1/3 of the time. You go back and forth with the same exact spouse or the same exact romantic companion. That would make you what's known as a flexible or a versatile. Get it? Got it? Good. Okay, now back to the bull, hot wife, cuckold relationship. In that relationship, for that relationship to really work, excuse me, burp. Give me a second. The woman involved in a bull, hot wife, cuckold relationship, she almost has to be a switch. She virtually has to be, of those 4, she pretty much has to be a switch. Because in a bull, hot wife, cuckold relationship, the woman is going to be totally obedient and submissive to her bulls. I've been a bull before. So that's how I know about this relationship. Not only do I'm very well versed in the BDSM lifestyle, but I've been a bull. And so the hot wife, she's going to be obedient and submissive to her alpha male bulls, but she's going to be dominant with her beta male bitch boy cuckolds. See, when you're cuckold, and now going back to the argument this YouTube host tried to present to me that there's no difference between a cuckold and a voyeur, there's a big difference. See, when you're a voyeur, that means you just like watching people fuck. But you're not being submissive or subservient to a woman or a man. You just like people, you just get you off to watch other people fuck. When you're a cuckold, that typically means you're a woman's bitch. You're a woman's bitch. Let me repeat that a 3rd time. You're a woman's bitch. You're not just her husband or boyfriend or partner. You are her bitch, particularly financially. You are her financial bitch. You pretty much got to do everything she wants you to do. Okay? So when you're a cuckold, that means in BDSM terms, you're a sub or bottom. I would take it 1 or 2 steps further. You're usually what's known as a masochist. Most of you should be familiar with that term, but if you're not, A sadist is someone who takes pleasure out of administering pain or humiliation and verbal abuse on other people. If you get pleasure out of causing physical pain to people, causing other people embarrassment and humiliation, or causing people some type of discomfort, or you like to verbally abuse people, that means you're a sadist. That's what's known as a sadist. The flip side of that is what's known as a masochist. Masochist is someone who gets sexually aroused, gets off on physical pain, physical torture, someone who gets off on being embarrassed or humiliated in public, and at minimum, someone who gets off on being verbally disrespected and verbally abused. That means you're a masochist. Most cuckolds, men who are cuckolds, they're one part voyeur. Voyeurism is part of what they are, but that's only a small part. But more so than being a voyeur, they are a masochist. They're either a sub or bottom, and in most cases, they're a masochist. And they tend to be similar to like a sugar daddy. They're like the obedient, submissive equivalent to a sugar daddy, because they're always going to take care of the woman's financial needs. A bull is a dominant sexual alpha male that will fuck other men's wives, fiancés, and girlfriends in front of their partners. In front of their partners. Not behind their back, but right in front of them. So like the times I've been a bull, I would go over to a couple's house and I would fuck a woman right in front of her husband or her boyfriend. Right in front of them. That's what you do when you're a bull. You will go over either a married couple or unmarried couple's crib, and you will fuck the wife, the fiance, the girlfriend, or whatever else label you want to call it. You will fuck the woman in front of her male cuckold. And you will verbally dominate him as well as the woman. Like if a guy's a cuckold and say, I'm at their crib, I'll tell the cuckold, I'll say, bitch, give me something to drink. And he'll be like, yes, sir. I'll be like, hurry up, motherfucker. I ain't got all day. Give me that goddamn drink. And some people might be listening and say, damn, Alan, that sounds kind of like mean-spirited. Sounds like you're being abusive. No. Cuckolds get off on being verbally abused. They want to be. Again, you don't believe me about cuckolds? Go on a site, do a trial membership. I don't even think it costs money to get on there. You can just sign up. Go on FetLife. That's like the most well-known BDSM-oriented website, I want to say, in the world, if not the country. Man, there's so many cuckolds on there, dude. You see more men on FetLife begging to be a woman's bitch than you do women begging to be a man's bitch. It just shows you the state of manhood today and masculinity today, man. I would say, I don't pay attention to all the ads, but I get these notifications in my email. Man, I would say for every ad I see from a woman asking to be a man's bitch, there's probably about 15 to 20 ads from men looking to be a woman's cuckold, a woman's bitch. There's a lot of men in society that want to be a woman's bitch. And y'all think I'm just exaggerating when I say it's a bunch of weak, thirsty men out here. Y'all think I'm just talking shit. All you got to do is go on FetLife for the evidence. Man, there's men out here begging to be a woman's bitch. Begging. I mean, literally begging to be a woman's bitch. Marinate on that. So anyway, long story short, to do with my interview on O'Shea's show with this other podcast, he didn't know what he was fucking talking about. Again, he tried to argue that the only time a man is a cuckold is when he gets tricked. Because see, there's a difference between the formal definition of a cuckold and the BDSM definition. That's the first thing, and I told him that. The formal definition of a cuckold is a man whose wife is cheating on him repeatedly, and he's the last one to find out. That's the number one formal definition of a cuckold. Second, more specific definition of a cuckold is a man whose wife not only cheats with him, cheats on him, but gets pregnant by the guy who she was cheating with. That's the real heavy-duty definition of, formal definition of a cuckold. So yeah, at minimum, if you're married and your wife is cheating on you with multiple guys and you don't know it, or you like one of the last guys to find that out, that would make you a cuckold at minimum. At maximum, if you married and your wife not only cheats on you, but she gets pregnant by another guy and you choose to stay with her and raise that child. Now, if you left her, like say you were married, your wife cheated on you got pregnant by another guy, you said, oh, hell no, bitch, I'm out. I am out. You can take care of that baby with the man you cheated with. I ain't going to help you take care of that baby. See, then you wouldn't be a cuckold. If once you find out you was like, I'm out of here, then no, that excuses you from being validly labeled a cuckold. But if your wife cheated on you and you find out that she got pregnant by another guy and you decide to stay with her and raise that baby as if it's your own, that would make you, that's the formal definition of a cuckold. And that's when I would, for the most part, agree with this other YouTube host when he said that nobody volunteers for that shit. So if you're talking about the formal definition of a cuckold, then yes, I would agree with him, and I told him that on the show. Yeah, I would agree that no man in their right mind is going to volunteer to let another man get their wife pregnant. Well, you never know in today's society. There might be some men who get turned on by that shit. Yeah. But in the BDSM world, no. Men, when you're a cuckold in the BDSM lifestyle, you asking to be one. You want to be a woman's bitch. You want her to fuck other guys in your face. You might even want her to get pregnant by another guy. There are a lot of BDSM cuckolds who will request that their wife or girlfriend get pregnant by another guy. I was on a website one time where these white guys, that's what they do. These white cuckolds, they want their wives specifically to have biracial babies. And they'll ask their wife to get pregnant by a black man. I actually, if I had to give some of my personal business, one time when I was a bull, I got approached with that. Yeah, I sure did. There was a white cuckold who wanted me to get his wife pregnant. And I was like, no. Nope. Yeah, I wasn't having that. I respectfully declined that shit. I was like, hell no. Hell no. So yeah, I had at least one time I got asked if I would at least think about it, and I was like, no, I ain't trying to get no. So yeah, in the BDSM world, man, there are a lot of men who want their wives, fiancés, and girlfriends to get pregnant by other guys, and they want to watch their wife, fiancé, or girlfriend get fucked right in front of them while they jack off. So that's where I disagree with him. When it came to the BDSM version of a cuckold, he didn't know what the fuck he was talking about. He didn't know what the fuck he was talking about. So anyway, that was kind of a long-ass side note. I'm known for my long-ass tangents and side notes. Now, back to the sister. Back to this sister. Gonna try to tell me how I should be behaving towards another black male YouTuber. I was basically like, bitch, you better stay in your lane. You better check yourself real quick. Ever fucking tell me what to do. And now I see today, which is at least 1/3 of what prompted this video, she put up another video. She didn't mention me by name, but she was talking about me. And she tried to generalize men who are BDSM doms. She said, yeah, these BDSM doms, they always trying to verbally dominate a woman. And they always trying to, she was like, I'm not involved in the BDSM lifestyle. What I do is similar but totally different than the BDSM lifestyle. Yeah, I know it's totally different because this is what you're doing. I'm going to throw out a concept for my listeners. Some of them already know this term, particularly those who are familiar with the BDSM world. See, this woman tries to act like she's submissive to her husband. But see, me being in the BDSM world, I know all the concepts. There's one concept known as topping from the bottom. If you never heard that term, write that down. Topping from the bottom. That's what a lot of female subs will do when they're in a BDSM relationship with a guy. They will top from the bottom. What does that mean? See, there's some relationships where a woman will be the top and the man will be the sub or the bottom. Okay? But then there's other relationships where a woman will publicly act like she's the obedient and submissive partner. It's mainly just a public facade. She will act like she's the highly feminine, obedient, and submissive partner. But behind closed doors, she'll tell her male partner what to do. She'll just do it using this really sweet, feminine voice. For example, let's say a woman was just a straight up dom. She might tell her husband, hey, bitch, deposit $5,000 into our joint account and do it now. And he'll be like, yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. I'll do that as soon as possible, my queen. Yes, ma'am, my queen. I'll do that as soon as possible. That would be a woman being a true top to her male sub or bottom. Okay? She would talk to him with force in her voice. Here's what a woman who's topping her husband from the bottom would do. Baby, sweetie, my king, my loving king, will you please be so gracious as to deposit $5,000 in our joint account? Thank you, sweetie, my lovely king. You know you're the king of the castle. You know you are. You're the king of the castle. You're my loving king. You rule me. But yes, make sure you deposit that $5,000. See, she essentially told her male companion to do the same thing that the woman who was the dominant top did, only she just used this kind of soft, sweet, feminine voice to do it. That's known as topping from the bottom. She's topping from the bottom. I'm not going to say this as a fact because I don't know about this woman's marriage, but I'm a pretty good reader of people. I read people very well. This sister who's into what's known as domestic discipline, which again is, she says is similar, has some similarities to the BDSM lifestyle, but it mainly just focuses on her getting her ass spanked on video when she's a bad girl, a disobedient bad girl. Yeah, okay. I believe she's topping her husband from the bottom, man. She ain't no natural sub. I know a natural sub when I talk to him. I know a natural sub like that in a microsecond. I know when I'm talking to a woman. I know when I'm talking to a woman when she's what's known as a... See, there's 3 types of subs. I'm going to give you more BDSM terminology. Well, technically 4. When it comes to submissive, evaluating a woman's level of submissiveness. There's what's known as a natural sub, a resistant sub, a reluctant sub, and a defiant sub. Technically, if a woman's a defiant sub, that means she's not submissive at all, really. So technically, she's not a sub at all if she's a defiant sub. Starting with the most to the least submissive. A natural sub, that's a woman who is just in her DNA fully to be submissive to men. The way I can usually tell if a woman's a natural sub is simply I'll tell her to call me sir. And she does it immediately. She doesn't give me any smart alecky comment, no resistance whatsoever. If I tell a woman, say in the first few minutes of my first conversation with her, I say, call me sir, don't call me Alan, call me sir. She says, yes, sir. That's a natural sub. That's a natural sub. Next level up would be a resistant sub. That's a woman that, say, if you were to ask her to call you sir, she's going to give you at least a few lighthearted, smart alecky comments. Like, why do I have to do that? You're not my daddy. You're not my husband. I mean, why do I have to call you sir? Blah, blah, blah. She's going to at least spend a few minutes, a couple hours. She might even spend a day or two resisting your requests and demands. But at some point, she's going to give in and break down and submit to you. That's what's known as a resistant sub. Then the next level up from there is what's known as a reluctant sub. Matter of fact, I would say the vast majority of my female clients who I do BDSM training sessions with, that's the category they fit into. The vast majority of them fit into the reluctant. Reluctant, that's a woman that you got to break her down and essentially train her to unleash her submissive nature. She has a submissive nature, but she's like doing a great job suppressing it because of maybe her feministic tendencies, and, you know, she loves Gloria Steinem and Bell Hooks and, you know, all them people. And she got a submissive side, but she's doing an excellent 4-star or 5-star job keeping that submissive side suppressed indefinitely. And it takes a BDSM dom like me to break her the fuck down and get her to permanently unleash her more highly feminine. And so that's what I get paid money for. I think I mentioned this on some of my previous video podcasts. There are actually guys who pay me money. Let me repeat that. There are guys who pay me money to train their wife, fiance, or long-term girlfriend. Usually as a last resort. They'll come to me like, hey, I'm getting ready to divorce my wife unless you can do something with her. Or I'm getting ready to break up with my girlfriend unless you can do something with her. Yeah. So most of the women I train as a BDSM trainer are women who fall in the category of the reluctant sub. Reluctant sub. And again, the next level up from that is what's known as a defiant sub. But if you're a defiant sub, you're essentially no sub at all. That means you're really a top. You're a woman who's a top, or a dom herself. Like most women who are what's known as a dominatrix are women who are usually tops and doms. So yeah, I think Miss Domestic Discipline, she's topping her husband from the bottom, man. But she had the nerve to say on her video podcast today, she didn't call me out by name, but everybody, they knew she was talking about me. She said I disrespected her and her husband by trying to verbally dominate her and putting her in check in her comment section of the video that she deleted. Nah. And she tried to attribute it to me being a BDSM dom. She said that's the problem with men who are BDSM doms. They always think they can verbally dominate you and that they got a license to disrespect you and blah, blah, blah. Hey, it ain't got shit to do with me being a BDSM dom. Just being a fucking man with backbone, I'm going to put your ass in check for trying to tell a grown fucking man how he should behave towards another man, and you ain't got shit to do with it. I can see if you were somehow directly involved. You ain't got shit to do with my relationship with this other YouTube host. You ain't got shit to do with it. Don't ever try to tell me what to do. That's why a lot of you women are fucking single. See, you brothers want to hear me go off on women? Now you're going to hear me go off on women for at least a couple minutes. See, this is why a lot of you women are single. Because y'all reluctant subs. Man, ain't nobody trying to be with no old, dominant bitch. Believe that shit. Ain't nobody trying to be with no old, dominant bitch. Ain't really no man with backbone trying to be with a young, dominant bitch. Let alone a woman who's 40 years of age older, 45 years of age older with a dominant nature. You're going to be single for the rest of your motherfucking life. Believe that shit. Believe that shit. And see, this is what the women I work with as clients, this is what I clue them into. If you want men beating down your door, the simple solution, if you're reasonably attractive, just allow your true femininity and submissive nature to come out. Men are attracted to submissiveness like flies are attracted to shit. Believe that. You'll never have a hard time attracting men if you're submissive. But see, too many young women, I'm reluctant to put extra emphasis on sisters, but I do got to put at least a little bit of lead. Now, I wouldn't even say in today's society it's just sisters. Because I know some white women, Asian women, and Hispanic women that say, so no, I ain't going to just highlight sisters. All you women, a lot of you women, because of our gynocentric, highly feministic society, which is why, again, I say women are winning the gender war, because we're living in a motherfucking gynocentric, highly feministic society, and I dare any of you motherfuckers to deny that shit. Y'all think on a personal and social level that you're going to gain some benefit. Now, In a way, I can see why a lot of you women want to be dominant, because I just thought about it. Based on what I told you about what's going on FetLife, you got these guys on FetLife begging women to be that bitch. So I guess that's why a lot of women feel like, well, shit, there's a lot of men out here that want to be my bitch. But you women know that shit don't get your pussy wet. You want to take advantage of motherfuckers like that for their money. But I tell women all the time, I said this on one of my episodes of Blog Talk Radio, no woman wants a man to be her sexual bitch. No woman. No woman. No woman wants a man to be her sexual bitch unless she getting paid for it. Unless she getting paid for it. Other than that, now a lot of women want a man to be their financial bitch, but no man, no woman wants a man to be her sexual bitch if she ain't getting paid for it. So anyway, my bottom line with you, sister, Miss Domestic Discipline, stay in your motherfucking lane. Now, here's what I find interesting. You saying I disrespected your husband. Okay? Is that right? Why is it that once I told you in your comment section to never contact me again, you sent me at least one additional email, you sent me at least one additional text message, and you came in my comment section of one of my recent videos and posted in it after I told you not to contact me again? You know why. You know why. Talking about I disrespected you and your husband. Did you tell your husband what you told me on the phone? About how my episodes of the erotic conversations leave your pussy dripping wet? Leave you wanting to play with your pussy like crazy? How much you love my sexy ass voice? My dominant verbal style in the erotic conversations? Did you tell your husband about that shit? I bet you didn't. If you did, I give you props for being honest with your husband. If you told him that. But if you didn't, then that means you full of shit. Because you sure enough told me that on the phone. How you love, you even came in my comment section one time talking about how hot my episodes of the erotic conversations were. You playing with your pussy like crazy, listening to the king talking shit to women. You know you want some of this dick. You know if you weren't married, and even if you were married, shit. You know you thinking about Alan Roger Currie's dick. You can't listen to the erotic conversations without thinking about my dick. Marinate on that. Miss Domestic Discipline. Marinate on that shit. Some of y'all gonna realize who the fuck you dealing with when you dealing with me. Who you listening to. Who you talking to. I ain't on Wikipedia by accident. You better recognize, motherfuckers. Anyway, my last point. That was supposed to be just the pre-intro stuff. That wasn't even supposed to be the main point of this video. Now I'm 54 minutes into the video and I'm getting to my... This is why people say I ramble a lot. They like, Alan, man, I love your videos, but man, you be rambling too much, man. Like, you have the main headline, it takes you like an hour and a half just to get to your main headline. And there's some validity to that. I'm a tangent going, segue going, side note going, rambling type motherfucker. Here's one of the feedbacks I got. I said, I think this is from my very last video. I made the comment to the men out there that you don't need to be whining and complaining if your simple issue with women is that you've been rejected a lot or ignored a lot. Again, I said, I got your back. You're going to get some understanding from me and empathy from me if you're bitching about women for lying to you, misleading you, manipulating you, and or exploiting you, or misrepresenting themselves, giving you the impression that they're one type of woman when they're actually... Basically, in other words, some of them more so, if you had a woman that just on a personal level dogs you out, like an ex-wife, ex-fiance, ex-girlfriend, former casual sex lover. But I said, if you're out here on YouTube and other social media outlets bitching about just the fact that you've been rejected by women multiple times ignored by women multiple times, or you disapprove of the men that they're dating and fucking that don't include you, I said you need to get over that shit. Among other reasons, because I've experienced that shit, and you don't see me being bitter. I've had my share of rejection. Just because I've gotten my share of pussy doesn't mean I haven't been rejected. I've gotten rejected by a number of women in my life. I let that shit go like a mosquito. Once I get rejected, boom, forgot about it. Once I get ignored by a woman I'm attracted to, boom, mosquito off my shoulder. Forget about it. Ain't no big deal, man. I go on to the next. Wasn't that a JC song? On to the next. Once one woman rejects me or lets me know in whatever way that she ain't interested, I'm on to the next. On to the next. So anyway, at least a couple guys fired back with some feedback at me. They said, hey, Alan, I thought you were a dating coach who's empathetic to men's challenges, men who have not been as successful with women as you have. So how can you say that you have no empathy for guys who've been rejected or ignored? Isn't Mo 1 all about helping men not be rejected and not be ignored? Isn't that the whole reason why you wrote Mo 1, is to not be rejected? Help men not be rejected? Okay, are you ready for my response? Are you ready? Wait, let me get a drink. Okay, you ready? You're sitting down, you're relaxed, you have full attention. You ready for my response? Okay. Okay. Fuck no! Fuck no! And you saying that lets me know you ain't thoroughly read my books. You bringing that, what you feel is a valid criticism and a valid response and rebuttal to me, lets me know you ain't thoroughly read my books. Because if you read my original, I'm talking about my original like 1998, 1999 version of Mo 1, let alone my 2006 version and my 2014 audiobook and my 2017 updated version, one of the things I say in my introduction, is that Mode 1 is not designed to help men prevent rejection, delay rejection, or even significantly minimize rejection. Let me repeat that. I say in the introduction section that Mode 1 is not designed to help men prevent rejection, delay rejection, or even significantly minimize rejection. That's not what Mode 1 is designed for. I would say along with that, I also say that of my 4 archetypes of women, as you know, as the reciprocator, rejector, wholesome pretender / erotic hypocrite, and manipulative time waster. Those are my 4 archetypes of women. I say in my book, man, if you're looking for a magic pill solution to turn a rejector, a woman who's a rejector, into a reciprocator, you're reading the wrong books. You're reading the wrong books. I don't offer no magic pill solution for that shit. And I say that up front in my books, particularly Mode 1. I don't offer any magic pill solution. Mode 1 is not designed to help you turn a woman who's totally not interested in you and magically make her become interested in you. That is not what Mode 1 is about. So anyone out there who thinks that my Mode 1 philosophy is about helping you prevent and or avoid rejection, you are dead wrong. You are dead wrong. And number 2, it shows me that if you claim to have read my books, you didn't read them thoroughly. That's not what Mode 1 is for, man. Mode 1 is designed to do these about 4 to 5 things I would say narrowed down that Mode 1 is designed to do. Number one, the first and foremost thing Mode 1 is designed to do is help you overcome your fear of simply approaching a woman and initiating a conversation with her. That's number one, what's commonly known in the PUA world as approach anxiety. That's the number one objective of Mode 1, is to help you overcome your fear of simply approaching a woman and initiating a conversation with her. Because a lot of men are just dreadfully afraid to even approach a woman and say, hello, how you doing? That's the number one problem of a lot of men out here, man. They scared to just approach women. So I'm going to tell you, man, there's only really 2 ways you can permanently prevent rejection. There's 2 to 3 ways you can prevent rejection. Number one, don't ever approach a woman. You won't get rejected. If you never approach a woman, you'll never get rejected. That's what I call Mode 3 timid. If you never approach a woman, you'll never get rejected. So if your big issue is you don't want to ever be rejected by a woman, don't approach a woman. Good luck. See how many women you hook up with by not. The only time you can get away with not approaching women at all is if you either some type of rich, famous celebrity, or you just super duper amazingly good looking to the point where women can't help themselves but to approach you first. That's the only 2 ways you can get away with not approaching any woman. Like, I've mentioned this a number of times in workshops and I think on Blog Talk Radio. George Clooney, the famous movie star, he admitted in a Playboy interview that one of his main reasons why he said he wanted to become rich and famous was so he wouldn't have to approach women and get rejected. He admitted that he has a fear of rejection. I found that interesting because most people think a guy as handsome and smooth as George Clooney would have no problems approaching women. But he admitted in a Playboy interview, he said he didn't like approaching women and getting rejected. He said that was one of the main things that motivated him to want to become a famous movie star. As he said he wanted to be in a position where women approached him first. Yeah, that's a big problem among a lot of guys. So that's the number one objective of Mode 1, is to help guys overcome their fear of simply approaching a woman and initiating a conversation. Second is to help you overcome your fear of negative reactions, of criticisms, insults, and negative reactions. Matter of fact, read my Negro Manosphere article. That's probably going to be related to my Patreon exclusive video I do. Is the article I wrote for the Negro Manosphere. I'm going to post it below. Yeah, the second most fear next to the fear of just approaching women, period. A lot of men have enough confidence to approach a woman and initiate a conversation with her, but then they'll proceed to engage in a bunch of what I call flattering, entertaining, and trivial small talk. Flattering, entertaining, and trivial small talk. That's why you have guys who fall into Mode 2. See, most guys who are afraid to approach women, period, they tend to fall into Mode 3. Particularly the Mode 3 timids. Guys who have enough confidence to start a conversation with a woman, but they don't have enough confidence to let those women know why they really are talking to them, they tend to be Mode 2. That's the second objective that Mode 1 helps guys, is to help you express your romantic or strictly sexual desires, interests, and intentions to women with a higher degree of confidence and a higher degree of truthfulness in the early stages of your conversation with a woman. Number 3 is to keep you out of the friend zone. To keep you out of the friend zone. That's the third and one of the most important objectives of Mode 1. Is not to prevent rejection, but to prevent you from being in a woman's friend zone indefinitely. And the way you do that is by identifying one of 2 women. Is by identifying wholesome pretenders / erotic hypocrites, or by identifying manipulative time wasters. See, there's some women out here who are interested in having sex with you, but they're going to initially, temporarily, or indefinitely pretend like they're not. Those are the women I refer to as a wholesome pretender or an erotic hypocrite. Then on the flip side, there's some women who know from the time they meet you that they're not interested in having sex with you, but they're going to initially, temporarily, or indefinitely give you the misleading impression that you have a chance, at least a slight chance, at getting in between their legs. That's what's known as what I refer to as a manipulative time waster. So identifying those two types is the third major objective of Mode 1. And I would probably say arguably the fourth objective is to help you develop the right body language, demeanor, and help you improve your verbal communication skills, more specifically, your verbal seduction and erotic dirty talk skills. And help you become better at reading women's body language signs, both their subtle signs and their more overt signs. That's my fourth major objective when I work with clients. Help them with their body language, their demeanor, their verbal communication skills, and more specifically, their verbal seduction and erotic dirty talk skills, and their ability to read women's subtle and more obvious body language signs and signals. And the fifth and final objective of Mode 1 is related to some of the stuff I'll be criticizing you guys about, is to prevent men from taking up permanent residence in what I refer to as the Mode 4 zone. I don't mind men making momentary pit stops, because I've done that into the Mode 4 zone. But you never want to become a permanent resident of the Mode 4 zone. That's when you become permanently angry towards women, bitter towards women, resentful towards women, and in most extreme cases, just flat out misogynistic towards women, is when you take up permanent residence in the Mode 4 zone. I try to keep as many guys out the Mode 4 zone as possible, at least on a permanent basis. Again, I don't mind you making little momentary dips into the Mode 4 zone. I think that's almost inevitable. But you never want to take up what I call permanent residence in the Mode 4 zone, to the point where all you do is just start bitching about women. You start bitching about how women ain't shit, how women are no good, blah, 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 blah. That ain't productive, man. Among other things, it just ain't productive. And it ain't manly to me. It ain't manly. It ain't productive, and it ain't manly. So those are my 5 major objectives of Mode 1. As you can see, none of those 5 objectives have to do with preventing or delaying. Say, I use this quick example, then I'm going to wrap up. And I've used this analogy before. Let's say I put you in a hotel room with 10 women, okay? 10 women. And let's say it's been predetermined from interviews with these 10 women that 3 of these 10 women have a definite interest in having sex with you. 1 woman has kind of a 50-50 interest. Half her is interested, half her is not. And the other 6 women have no interest in having sex with you. But at least 4 of those 6 women who are not interested in having sex with you are interested in having you as a platonic friend, or interested in engaging in a high degree of entertaining and trivial small talk with you. Okay, you get that? Got that? Get it? Got it? Good. So let me recap. You're in a room with 10 women. 3 of the women are definitely interested in you sexually. 1 of the women, there's at least a 50% chance she's interested in you sexually. And the other 6 women are not interested in you sexually, but 4 of those 6 women are interested in either being platonic friends with you or at minimum engaging in lengthy, entertaining small talk with them. Here's where Mode 1 comes into place. If you were to go in that room and say exhibit what I call Mode 2 behavior, you'll probably eventually identify the 3 women who are interested in having sex with you, and you might end up seducing that woman who was kind of on the fence. But here would be the biggest problem if you were Mode 2. Is that you would end up wasting a lot of time with those 6 women who are not interested in you, particularly the 4 who want to just be friends with you or want to engage in trivial small talk with you. You would end up wasting a lot of time with them. And see, that's why I'm not a fan of mode 2. It's not because you can't get laid being mode 2, and I've said this before. You can get laid being mode 2. I'll tell guys that. You can get laid being what's known as indirect. But the problem, if no other problem, the problem with being indirect, or what I refer to as mode 2 and mode 3, is that you're going to end up wasting time, and sometimes time and money, with the women who are not interested in giving you no pussy. That's the main problem. You're going to open the door for what I refer to as manipulative time wasters. Manipulative time wasters. See, whereas when you mode 1, again, going back to my original premise that mode 1 doesn't change a rejector into a reciprocator. So if you're mode 1, on the bad news would be those 6 women who are not interested in having sex with you, you're not going to be able to change their mind simply because you mode 1. Let me make that clear. You're not going to be able to change those women's mind simply because you're mode 1. But what you will be able to do is within no more than 5 minutes into the conversation, you'll be able to weed them out real quick, like knock them down like ducks. You'll be able to quickly weed them out and know that they ain't trying to give you no pussy. So that you can concentrate all your time on the 3 women who do want to give you some pussy, and maybe that one woman who's on the fence. And the one woman on the fence, that's where your verbal communications, your verbal seduction skills come into play. Your erotic dirty talk skills come into play for those women that are on the fence. On the fence. They could go either way. They're on the fence. That's where you got to learn how to be smooth. Say the right things in their ear. Get that pussy wet. Get them thinking about, visualizing, sucking your dick. All right. That's going to do it for me. This was a little longer. I'm glad I didn't say I promise to keep this under an hour because it went over an hour. Again, for my Patreon subscribers, I'm going to either be dropping a Patreon exclusive video either later on today or at the latest sometime tomorrow. It's going to be either directly or indirectly related to my most recent Negro Manosphere article that's posted below. All right, I'll talk to y'all. Mode 1, baby. Make shit happen.
Yes, sir.
Say it again.
Yes, sir.
Who's the king?
Alan, you're the king.
Say it again.
Alan, you're the king. You're dominating me.
Say it again.
Alan, you're dominating me right now. Mode 1.
Mode 1.
Daddy, can I go, please? You're the king.
Say it again.
Oh, king. Oh, you're the fucking king. Yes. Yes. Yes.
You're the king, Alan.
AKA the king of verbal seduction. You know, it's the tone of your voice, how seductive your intonations are, the vibrations that you could just reach out over the phone lines and stroke a woman's breast just by the sound of your voice, how you could make her pussy so wet just by the sound of your voice. That's actually very hot.
So you said my show was what?
I said your show is powerful.
Oh, say it again.
Your show is powerful.
I bet the king would fuck me really good.
Oh, yeah. Who's the king?
Alan Roger Currie.
Oh, yeah. Who's the king?
Alan Roger Currie. The king.
The king.
The king.